In a city that sparkled like a diamond beneath the afternoon sun, Jake Thompson was about to make a name for himself, again. His day began like any other, with the gleaming cockpit of his advanced fighter jet waiting eagerly for its pilot. The sun bathed the tarmac in golden light, the hum of technology thrumming around him. But Jake, known for his charming grin and propensity for mishaps, had other ideas. Today was a test flight, and the crowd had gathered, a mix of skeptics, admirers, and a few curious onlookers who came to witness what they assumed would be yet another comically disastrous display. Jake sauntered over to the jet, a sleek machine that promised to change the game in aerial combat. He flashed a thumbs up at the crowd, earning a smattering of applause and a few snickers. As he climbed into the cockpit, he could feel the familiar butterflies in his stomach, a mix of excitement and the dread of potentially embarrassing himself. "All right, Thompson," he muttered to himself, tightening his helmet. "Let's show them what you've got." The jet roared to life, its engines purring with power. Jake flicked switches, his heart racing as he prepared for takeoff. With a deep breath, he released the brakes and surged down the runway. The jet lifted off smoothly, and for a moment, he was flying high, feeling like a rock star in the sky, but Jake's luck had other plans. Halfway through an elaborate loop intended to showcase his skills, the jet began to shudder. Panic set in as he realized he had accidentally activated a new prototype feature, the flash and dash mode. Instead of a graceful maneuver, he spiraled wildly, spinning through the air like a confused bird. The crowd gasped, and for a split second, Jake felt like a cartoon character, arms flailing as he fought to regain control. He managed to straighten out just in time, landing not with the grace of a seasoned pilot, but rather with a thud that sent the ground crew scrambling. As the jet touched down with a thump, Jake was met with silence. He climbed out, heart pounding, and faced the crowd, who erupted into laughter. "Hey, at least I'm not boring," he called out, trying to salvage some dignity. But as he wiped the sweat from his brow, a sleek black car pulled up, and out stepped a government official, his expression serious. "Jake Thompson," he said, striding over, "you've just been selected to pilot the new combat fighter against an alien invasion." Jake blinked, momentarily forgetting his embarrassment. "Wait, what?" "Yes, the alien fleet is currently disrupting global communications and energy. We need someone with your unique flying style." "Unique?" Jake echoed, unsure if that was a compliment or an insult. And just like that, what he thought would be the end of his flying career transformed into an unexpected twist of fate. The crowd cheered, not for his flight but for the sudden importance of his new mission. He was about to become a hero, whether he liked it or not. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Jake found himself in a top-secret military base, surrounded by serious faces and the hum of technology that made his head spin. He met Captain Lara Kim, a no-nonsense pilot with an air of authority that made him stand at attention. Her reputation preceded her. She was known for her sharp skills and zero tolerance for clowning around. "Let's get one thing straight," Lara said, arms crossed, her dark eyes scrutinizing him. "This is not a game. We're facing a real threat, and we need to be at our best." "Of course. Best of the best," Jake responded, flashing his trademark grin. "Just think of me as the wild card." Her eyebrow arched, unimpressed. "Wild card? More like a loose cannon." Their training sessions began, a chaotic mix of serious drills and Jake's outrageous attempts to impress. In one exercise, he accidentally triggered the ejector seat while demonstrating a maneuver, launching a training dummy into the air. "Oops," Was that supposed to happen? He laughed, while Lara facebombed. As they continued training, Jake's style proved surprisingly effective. His unpredictable flying threw off simulations, causing enemies to falter. They became an odd team, Jake's comedic antics balancing Lara's strict discipline, each learning from the other amidst laughter and frustration. One day, during a simulator run, Jake decided to break the monotony with a daring plan. How about we go with a classic, distract them with something shiny? Lara raised an eyebrow. You mean like a disco ball? Exactly. If they can't stop staring, they won't know what hit them. They both chuckled, the tension easing. All right, but let's keep the disco balls in the brainstorming phase, Lara replied, shaking her head with a smile. As they prepared for their first real encounter, Jake felt the familiar flutter of nerves. He was being thrust into a battle, not just for his life, but for the fate of Earth. The day of the encounter arrived, and the sky was filled with the sound of jet engines. As they soared high above the clouds, Jake glanced at Lara. Ready to save the world? Lara smirked, just try to keep the jet in one piece. Their formation tightened as they approached the alien fleet, a monstrous sight against the brilliant blue sky. Ships shaped like giant, metallic jellyfish floated ominously, beams of light crackling between them. Here we go! Jake shouted, adrenaline pumping. They engaged in a dizzying aerial dance, weaving through enemy fire and dodging beams of light. Jake's heart raced as he executed wild maneuvers, narrowly avoiding being hit. This is way more intense than the simulator, he yelled, exhilarated. With each successful strike, the alien seemed to falter, confused by Jake's unpredictable style. They were winning, but just when it seemed they had the upper hand, a large alien ship appeared, blocking their escape route. Jake! We need a plan. Lara shouted over the comms, her voice steady despite the chaos. Right. How about a loop-de-loop? Lara's expression turned serious. Not a great idea, but we don't have many options. With determination, Jake initiated the maneuver. They soared upward, spiraling toward the alien ship. It was a risky move, but as they flew over the enemy, Jake dropped a series of flares designed to confuse and distract. Now! Lara shouted, and they both dove toward the ship, weapons blazing. The plan worked perfectly. The alien ship exploded in a dazzling array of lights. Did you see that? Jake cheered, pumping his fist in victory. Keep your head in the game, Thompson. Lara snapped, but there was a hint of a smile tugging at her lips. As the battle raged on, the aliens were forced to retreat, their fleet scattering in the face of unexpected human resilience. Jake and Lara had forged an unusual but powerful partnership, relying on each other's strengths to overcome a monumental challenge, but their victory was bittersweet. They had succeeded, but Jake knew this was only the beginning. With the alien fleet still looming out there, ready to regroup, he felt a chill of uncertainty. Jake and Lara hovered in the aftermath of their first battle, the adrenaline still coursing through their veins. The sky, once darkened by alien ships, was now clear, dotted only by wispy clouds. But beneath the calm, a storm brewed in their minds. Did we really just win? Jake said, glancing at Lara. She was focused, her eyes scanning the horizon for any signs of the retreating alien fleet. Don't get cocky, she replied. This isn't over. They'll regroup, and when they do, we need to be ready. Ready for what? Another round of aerial acrobatics, he asked, flashing her a grin. But the seriousness in her expression kept his smile in check. More like a full-scale invasion. "We'll need to come up with a strategy," she said, her tone steady and authoritative. Back at the base, the mood was a mix of celebration and tension. Technicians rushed to analyze the data collected during the battle, and commanders discussed the next steps in hushed tones. Jake and Lara were debriefed immediately, and the excitement of victory quickly shifted to the gravity of their situation. "Look," Lara said as they pored over the battle footage on a large screen, "the aliens are more coordinated than we thought. We can't rely on sheer luck and unpredictability next time." "Agreed," Jake replied, rubbing the back of his neck. "But we did catch them off guard. What if we double down on that? Use their own tactics against them?" She pondered this for a moment, her brow furrowed in thought. "That could work. If we can get them to underestimate us again, we might have a chance to disrupt their formation." As they plotted their strategy, the tension between them slowly shifted to a more collaborative energy. Jake found himself respecting Lara's insights, and she began to appreciate his unconventional approach. They brainstormed ideas, mixing serious tactics with their usual banter, which lightened the mood. Days passed as they prepared for the next encounter. They trained hard, with Lara instilling discipline while Jake introduced quirky tactics, like dropping glitter bombs to disorient enemies. The whole process was filled with unexpected laughter, particularly when they had to explain the rationale behind their strategies to the higher-ups. The second encounter came sooner than they anticipated. The command center buzzed with urgency as the radar detected the alien fleet re-emerging on the outskirts of the atmosphere. Jake felt his heart race. "Time to see if our plan works," he said, trying to keep the nerves at bay. Lara shot him a look, her face serious. "Stay focused. Remember, we're not just out there to have fun. Lives are at stake." Right. "Just trying to lighten the mood," Jake replied, but he felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. As they launched into the sky, the familiar rush of exhilaration mixed with anxiety. They maneuvered toward the alien fleet, which was surprisingly organized this time, ships gliding through the clouds in a formation that resembled a predatory bird, ready to strike. "Okay, Jake. Time to put the plan into action," Lara said, her voice calm despite the tension in the air. "I'll create a diversion. You take the flank." With a nod, Jake took position, heart pounding. Lara shot forward, drawing the attention of the alien ships. They responded immediately, firing beams of light toward her jet. But Lara was swift, using every ounce of her skill to dodge and weave through the onslaught. "Now, Jake," she shouted. Taking a deep breath, Jake launched into his own maneuver, flanking the alien formation. He activated his glitter bomb, the shimmering particles bursting in the air and momentarily blinding the alien ships. He could practically hear their confusion through the comms, their garbled transmissions mixing in a chaotic cacophony. "Nice distraction." Jake yelled, feeling a rush of adrenaline as he dove into the fray, picking off alien ships with calculated precision. "Keep it up. They're starting to panic," Lara encouraged, her voice cutting through the static. With each shot, their confidence grew, but Jake noticed something strange. The aliens were regrouping, forming a tighter formation around their larger mothership, preparing for a counterattack. "Lara, they're adjusting. We need to disrupt their center," he called out, urgency creeping into his tone. "Right. I'll draw them toward you. Get ready to hit that mothership." Lara executed a daring maneuver, drawing the alien ships away from their formation. Jake waited, timing his attack with precision. As the alien ships followed her lead, he launched everything he had at the mothership, targeting its engines. The explosion lit up the sky, a magnificent burst of colors that sent shockwaves through the air. The remaining alien ships faltered, their coordination disrupted. "Jake, now's our chance. Finish this," Lara shouted. With renewed determination, Jake surged forward, navigating through the chaos. His heart raced as he took aim at the remaining ships, firing off precise shots. One by one, the aliens fell, and soon the sky was filled with nothing but silence and the fading echoes of battle. As they soared through the now quiet sky, Jake and Lara couldn't help but cheer. "We did it!" Jake shouted, his voice filled with exhilaration. "Just like I said, we're a great team," Lara replied, her usual stoic demeanor breaking into a rare smile. Back at the base, they were welcomed as heroes, their success turning the tide in the ongoing war. Briefings turned into celebrations, and for a moment, the world felt lighter. But even amidst the festivities, Jake sensed a lingering tension. "Lara, what do you think happens next?" he asked, watching the revelry unfold around them. "We've won a battle, but the war is far from over," she said, her tone somber. "We need to stay vigilant. They'll come back." "I know," he replied, trying to shake off the weight of her words. "But let's enjoy this for a moment. We earned it." As the evening wore on, Jake found himself caught between celebration and anxiety. They had become a formidable team, but the reality of their situation loomed over them. As he glanced at Lara, he could see the determination in her eyes. They had forged a bond in the fires of battle, and he was ready to face whatever came next. Side by side with her, days turned into weeks, and the world slowly adjusted to the newfound peace. The military continued to prepare for potential retaliation from the aliens, and Jake and Lara trained harder than ever, growing more synchronized in their tactics. But the atmosphere was charged with an underlying fear. Reports came in of strange sightings, unidentified ships flitting in and out of the atmosphere. The tension built, and Jake felt it in his bones. Then, one night, they were called into an emergency meeting. The commander's expression was grave as he laid out the situation. "We've received intelligence that the alien fleet is planning a full-scale assault on major cities across the globe. They're regrouping, and this time, they're coming in force." Jake's stomach dropped. "What do we do?" "We need you two to lead the charge," the commander said, locking eyes with Jake and Lara. "You've already proven yourselves. We believe your unique approach could be the key to turning the tide again." Lara nodded, her expression resolute. "We won't let you down." "Let's devise a plan," Jake said, adrenaline coursing through him. "If we can anticipate their movements and disrupt their formations again, we might just stand a chance." In the ensuing hours, they worked tirelessly, crafting strategies and simulations, their partnership deepening as they communicated without words, anticipating each other's thoughts and moves. The day of the impending attack dawned, and the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. The ground crew prepped the jets, and the tension was palpable. Jake felt the weight of responsibility settle heavily on his shoulders. "Lara," he said as they suited up, "I know we've been through a lot, but I have faith in us. We can do this." "Together," she replied, her eyes steady, filled with determination. As they launched into the sky, the sense of unity between them was stronger than ever. The alien ships appeared on the horizon, a dark wave against the bright blue sky. "Here we go," Lara said, her voice calm despite the chaos ahead. "Let's give them a show they won't forget," Jake replied, grinning. The battle began, and it was chaos incarnate. Alien ships swarmed like angry hornets, and the air crackled with energy. They dove into the fray, Jake using every ounce of his creativity to outmaneuver the aliens, while Lara executed her maneuvers with precision. With each explosion, with each alien ship downed, the tides of battle ebbed and flowed. Jake and Lara worked in perfect harmony, weaving through the onslaught, responding to threats with an instinctive bond that had formed over their time together. But just when it seemed they were gaining the upper hand, a massive ship emerged from the heart of the alien fleet, dwarfing everything around it. It was the mothership, their command center, bristling with weaponry. Jake, we need to take that out. Lara shouted over the din. I'm on it, he yelled back, adrenaline surging as they adjusted their strategy on the FLY. In a breathtaking display of skill, they maneuvered toward the mothership, dodging fire and weaving through the chaos. The stakes had never been higher. Lara's voice was steady. We have to hit it with everything we've got. Are you ready? Always, Jake replied, determination filling his voice. They charged, unleashing a barrage of firepower at the massive ship. The explosions lit up the sky, the brilliance blinding for a moment. In the midst of the chaos, Jake saw the mothership falter, the energy fluctuating as it absorbed the blows. It's working. Keep pushing, he urged, but just then, a powerful beam of light shot from the mothership, slamming into Lara's jet. The impact sent her spiraling away, and Jake's heart dropped. Lara! No, he yelled, panic flooding his senses. Jake! I'm fine, just a little. Her voice crackled, and he could hear the strain in her tone. I'm still in the fight. With newfound determination, Jake fought against the rising tide of panic. Just hold on. I'm coming. He maneuvered through the onslaught, aiming for the mothership. He had to finish this. As he approached, he prepared for a final strike, hoping to exploit the chaos of the battle. He could see the aliens scrambling to regroup, their ships in disarray. Taking a deep breath, he launched his final shot at the mothership's core, aiming for the weak spot they had identified earlier. The explosion was immense, a shockwave that rippled through the air. For a moment, everything stood still. The mothership crumbled, a massive fireball illuminating the sky, sending debris flying in all directions. Did we do it? Jake asked, breathless. Lara's voice came through, triumphant. We did it. The fleet is breaking apart. A wave of relief washed over Jake. They had won, against all odds. They had become a formidable team, and together they had forged a path to victory. As the alien ships retreated, the world erupted in cheers. Jake and Lara soared through the sky, high above the chaos, the thrill of victory coursing through them. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, bound by their shared experiences and unwavering camaraderie. Back at the base, they were hailed as heroes. The world watched in awe as they shared their story, two unlikely pilots who had turned the tide in the battle for Earth. Jake felt a deep sense of pride and connection to Lara. In the days that followed, as the world began to heal, Jake and Lara reflected on their journey. The chaos had forged a bond that neither had expected, and they looked toward the future with a shared understanding that they could face anything together. As they stood on the edge of the airstrip, watching the sun set, Lara turned to him, a smile gracing her lips. You know, maybe you're not such a loose cannon after all. Jake laughed, the warmth of camaraderie settling around them. And maybe you could lighten up a bit. Just a tiny bit. Lara rolled her eyes, but there was a spark of humor in her gaze. Let's save the humor for our next alien encounter, shall we? Agreed. But I still think a glitter bomb is a solid plan. Don't push your luck, Thompson, she warned, though her smile remained. Together, they watched the sky turn from brilliant orange to deep indigo, the stars emerging one by one. The universe was vast and unpredictable, but for the first time, it felt like they were ready to face whatever came next, together.